The Suns are 2 wins away from winning the NBA Finals, man. I have never been so happy to be a Suns fan in my entire life so far. They they're killing it. This is such a great team. I almost feel like this team doesn't have any weaknesses, but that's just the bias in me coming out. But welcome back to Big Red Weekly, everybody. Subscribe to the channel if you have not already. I'm trying to hit 500 subscribers by the end of the year, so your subscription would mean a lot to me. But come on, let's get into this game too. The game just ended. It was 108 to 118, I believe. I literally just yep, 108 to 118. I thought this game. I mean, I was really hoping for the Suns win, which they did. Suns are obviously up 2-0 now, going back to Milwaukee now. I think the series is going to change a little bit because one of the big things in this game, while Milwaukee came out super aggressive, it was mostly Giannis. Milwaukee also changed their defensive schemes a little bit. They were fighting over screens more. Drew Holiday was really fighting over DeAndre Ayton when he would come up and set a high screen for Chris Paul, and he was just making sure that Chris Paul was not getting that switch onto Brook Lopez, which both he and Devin Booker like to definitely take advantage of. But Milwaukee did a much better job of not putting Brook Lopez into that situation. He still got into it a few times, but that's because obviously, these are professionals. These are great players. So they're gonna, force some switches and force some mismatches regardless. But and then they also doubled Cam Payne out of the pick and roll too. So whenever Aiden would come set a screen for a campaign, both guys would just rush Payne and force him to give up the ball, but the Suns were hitting their shot, so not really much you can really do about that. DeAndre Ayton needs to be more aggressive. He finished last game with like 19 and 20, 19 and 19, 21 and 19. He was somewhere right around there. He almost had a 2020 game, and he completely did not do that this game. He just played way too small. He was just too soft. He wasn't rebounding well. He did have a couple good plays in the fourth quarter, but besides that, overall, he just was not playing like he normally does. Which obviously, with it being his first finals, you got to kind of give him a pass for not being super consistent. But he can really be a game changer. He can play really great defense on Giannis. He can't shut Giannis down, but he can play really solid defense and just make it tough. Overall, the Suns are doing decent. They're making sure that whenever Giannis gets into the paint, they're either surrounding him, putting their hands up, or they're hitting him. They're forcing him to go to the foul line, because obviously with him not being a great foul shooter, you'd rather him shoot the two free throws rather than take the layup. So the Suns are just making sure that Giannis is not the reason that they lose. But regardless, Giannis had a great game. He started out aggressive. He kept on being aggressive, and he ended up having a great third quarter. He ended up finishing the third quarter with 20 points, which was the most points scored in a quarter in a finals game since 1993 by Michael Jordan, who ironically also did that against the Suns. So apparently the Suns are just the team that if you want to get a new record, new playoff record, that's the team you're going to do it on. It was weird. So I want to go back to the first quarter. The first quarter went by super quick. There were like no foul calls, no whistles at all. And all of a sudden, it was just like there was like a minute and a half left in the first quarter, and I was like, "What the hell's even going on?" So I kind of liked that it was just pure basketball, and I got to enjoy it. Moving on, Holiday and Middleton weren't that great offensively. I think Holiday still ended up finishing the game with like 20 points. I'm going to check real quick. Holiday finished with 17, 5, and 7 with a couple steals in there as well. So he didn't have that great of an offensive game. He only shot 33% overall from the field. But defensively, Drew Holiday came alive. He was just aggressive. He almost kind of wanted to shut you down. But it's kind of hard to be kind of a shutdown defender in today's league with, so many, if you touch a person, it's a foul. If you bump them slightly, it's a foul. So it's hard to really be shut down. But Drew Holiday in this game was about as much as, about as close to shut down as you could kind of get, with with the rules and everything nowadays. But offensively, not great. Defensively, he was amazing. He was definitely a reason why Chris Paul doesn't really like to have Drew Holiday on him. So he really likes to get the ball out of his hands, or gets that, or try to force switch onto like Pat Connaughton or someone or Jeff Teague when the limited minutes that he plays, just tries to get those mismatches. Uh, the Suns had the lead up to like 13 or 15 points at one time in the third quarter. But obviously, with that Giannis, with the big Giannis quarter, he kept them in the game. But Phoenix never backed down. The commentators were talking about, I don't remember who it was, and might have been who was it, Malika Andrews, but they were talking about Book before the game, saying that he thinks if Kobe was still here, he'd say just go out there and finish the job. Which I love that mentality, because that means that Book is not taking each one of these games for granted. He's going out there. He understands. Okay, I got to win 4 games this series. 4 more games. Well, at this point, it's only 2 more games. But he came into the series knowing that he just has to win 4 games, and he's there. He's been great. Book is it's kind of been a weird situation with Devin Booker, because on one hand you knew how good he could be, but the Suns obviously sucked, so you knew he wasn't really going to go anywhere at the moment. But now that they're in the finals, and now that they're on the verge of really getting their first ever championship, he's been spectacular, and he really matched Giannis tonight. He didn't match it at first, but he really finished this game out, and he was really a big reason why the Suns really offensively didn't get blown out, or just did as well as they did. I shouldn't say blown out. But the biggest thing about the Suns team is honestly just each player, because the Suns, I don't think, have the best players in the league, obviously, but it's just that each player understands their role and they exceed in their role. When guys like, the Dario Saric's, even though he's out, Torrey Craig is now out. We're not sure what kind of injury he has, but he left this game pretty early on, I think, and he never returned. But those kind of guys, the Cameron Paynes, the Cameron Johnsons, who is one of my favorite players on the Suns, those guys are important. Obviously Jay Crowder, Mikal Bridges, DeAndre, all these guys are super important. You have the stars in Devin Booker and Chris Paul, but it goes all the way down to those last guys that are coming off the bench too. Those guys understand their role. They come in and they play their heart out in those roles. And that's what makes the Phoenix such a dangerous team, that everyone just understands their role. But to finish it out, both the Suns and the Bucks had a guy off the bench, not off the bench, just an extra guy role player who played really well. Pat Connaughton hit some nice 3-pointers for the Bucks, and Jay Crowder ended up starting off pretty hot, hitting his shots for the Suns. So overall, great game. Devin Booker ended up finishing with 31, 5, and 6. DeAndre Ayton only had 10 and 11. Again, he needs to be a little bit more aggressive. He needs to be, at the very least, he needs to be rebounding. I mean, obviously 11 rebounds isn't bad, but for somebody who's playing 42 minutes, I would definitely like to see at least 15 rebounds, even if you aren't scoring that much. Or I don't know, he just needs to be more aggressive. That's what I would like to see from DeAndre Ayton. Chris Paul, 23, 4, and 8. He had quite a few turnovers tonight too, though. He had 6 turnovers, Chris Paul did, so that's a little weird for him. But Mikal Bridges, man, stepped up huge, 27 and 7. He played great. Obviously, with the absence of DeAndre Ayton tonight, not scoring, not a damn thing, or not being aggressive and just being soft. Mikal Bridges really stepping up and just being that third guy to really, come up. That was great. The Suns really needed that. Other than that, Cam Johnson and Cam Payne played great off the bench. Torrey Craig, in the 7 minutes that he played, almost 8, he did well, but hopefully he ends up coming back and he's not too injured, because he definitely helps the Suns, obviously, defensively. He hit a couple shots as well. So I love this game. Suns are up 2-0. I think Chris Middleton's been playing pretty badly offensively in Phoenix. I think that's going to turn around a little bit in Milwaukee. I think you're probably going to see um, at I think at best the Suns could probably split it 1-1 coming back to Phoenix, so it'd probably be a 3-1. But I kind of have a feeling that Phoenix might be it might be 2-2 coming back to Phoenix, but obviously we'll kind of see. So thanks for watching, everybody. Leave a like on the video. Comment down below what other videos you'd like to see. I have a video coming out this Sunday about the Phoenix Suns and about their first championship, so stay tuned for that. Other than that, I appreciate everybody watching. Thanks.